Hello again. Here I am with Diana, and we're going to go through a little bit of a follow-up for what we did with the deviated septum. So, Diana, tell me, did you notice any changes in the work that we did? And if so, tell us what you experienced.
I did notice very big changes, and I noticed that I have always had this kind of wheezing sound in my left nostril, and that is much better now. I feel like the work was very powerful and has held about, my estimation, about 85 to 90%. And I'm thinking that it might take another session or two to really get it to where it's corrected. And so I asked Athena if we could do some more work on it, and she thought it might be good to do a follow-up, so here we are.
Diana did mention that her neck is a little sore. Is that tie into the same shoulder we worked? The neck? Is it the same side? Or was it this shoulder? I can't remember.
It's the neck has been back and forth both sides, but what I've noticed is a knot in this area.
So this is different than, this is a different thing than what we've been. Well, I'm gonna take a look at this a little bit later, but what I do want to do is I just want to do a quick hand placement for just to make sure the cranial bones are all in the right position, especially the sphenoid bone. So I'm not going to go through a complete session. I'm just going to basically do the vault holds and be able to move the bones this way, allow the bones to move this way. So we'll just do a couple vault holds and see, which I can tell right now the parietal on the left-hand side is already moving. So we'll just see, there's a little bit, yeah, that's way out of alignment. It's kind of up the parietal, and it comes a little bit into the frontal bone. So this is just a vault hold. After a while, your hands will be trained, if you're working at this, your hands will be trained to be able to separate the different bones and the suture lines, and you'll be able to move the hands in a way to help each bone move into position, which is kind of like you don't have to go through all the whole 10-step when you get that sort of a technique in your hand, although the 10-step is important because it does cover each bone separately. But as you get more advanced in this, there's a lot of things you can do. And a lot of that is because you learn how to transfer the energy from your hands into the body. And that's something that you have to take the time to learn and to feel and to know what you're feeling for. So this is now balanced. And then I'll just check the sphenoid separately. And the reason the sphenoid is that's the main bone. That's the fulcrum of the body where it comes together with the occiput at the sphenobasilar junction. And this feels pretty good. Yeah, there's still a little bit of lag on the left, but it's not much. Okay. And then you want to always open up the, I'll do it this way, put the hand there, and you want to open up the neck area, which is considered the avenue of expression. And there's some changes back in the back of the head, more at a muscular level. And this is just a check on the sphenoid with the occiput. And it all feels pretty good, pretty balanced. So now we're going to just go back in. I'm going to see what I feel inside of the mouth. All right, I'm going to check the balance here. You can rest your jaw a little bit more. Okay, there was a shift in the sphenoid bone right there. The rhythm is real small up here right now, but it is still a rhythm. It's almost a sub-rhythm, so that suggests that she might be into a little bit of a process, because the rhythm does stop when there's a process happening, and you have to go to the sub-rhythm. Okay, I'm going to do a little torsion on the hard palate, and a torsion the other way. And center. And then I'm going to shear it just to make sure that it's moving well. It's not stuck anywhere. And shear the other direction. Okay, and then I'm going to just pull that out. Okay, now I'm going to go into the cruciate suture, which is the center of the, way back in the back of the, where the hard and soft palate are. And this is more on the vomer. And there's a lot of movement right here with the vomer. It seems to be torquing over to the right. And now it's coming a little bit back. There's a lot of activity in the wings of the sphenoid bone as I'm here on the vomer, so there's a lot of correction that's happening way in the back. I'll show you that on the skull when I'm done here. Okay. So let me find the rhythm for this vomer again. And there it is. The flexion and extension in relationship to the sphenoid bone. Okay. Now I'm going to place my hand on the cruciate suture in the center, and it's where it separates the hard palate, and I'm going to just hold that there because this is where the vomer gets thinner, and the septum seems to be positioned closely in there. There's a lot of movement happening. I'm going to go to the soft part. There's the nose, the cartilage, or excuse me, that's the bone, and then the cartilage is right here is where it starts. And so I'm going to hold these positions and see what relationship there is. It definitely feels different than it did last time. Did you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
What it felt like one side of the palate dropped and then lifted back up, so it was repositioning. Okay, I'm going to go up to the nasal bones and make sure they're decompressed. At the same time of holding this center space, it's in front of the soft palate where I'm holding, and the finger is lying across all the way to the front teeth from about mid mid-hard palate to the teeth. And there's a lot of different changes here going on because of the nasal bones. There we go. There's a lot of just shifting. I can't even put words to it. It's in relation to the nasal bones. We'll go back down to where the cartilage is. And I'm going to give a little traction on that. There's a lot of activity in the mouth and it's really holding me in there. And there's a lot of activity with the cartilage that feels like on the nose. That's also doing a lot of swimming around. Again, the touch is very light. It's just that you have to hold it. It gets kind of hard to hold after a while. Okay. What did you feel with that?
Just an opening. It almost always just feels like opening.
Like opening? Does it feel like that's a good thing?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to go back to the heart, to the fighting surfaces of the teeth, and I'm going to traction a little bit the teeth forward to open up some of the space back in the back part of the mouth. The legs of the sphenoid bone come in and the palatine in that area. And there's a lot of activity in the sphenoid bone right now as this is tractioning. The way you traction it is you just kind of drag on the teeth very slowly. You just kind of drag it forward. And it feels like it's being, like you're pulling her into having buck teeth. But it won't be like that, but it feels that way to me. And bring it together. And there we go. Check your jaw. You could feel it where?
When you were on my teeth?
Mm-hmm.
I could feel that maybe
or towards
half an inch up into
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Let me check the sphenoid again. And then we will check the palatines. This is all just structural stuff. You know, I just see structure when I'm working on people because I really understand how function is going to follow structure. And then I'm going to also do an ear pull to get the membranes. This is a kind of a tentorium pull. But just get the membranes deeper in there, also expanded.
I'm feeling this pulling over here in my left sinus as you hold that.
And there's a really big pull on the ears right now. Now I'm not pulling and yanking. I'm just very gently, like tractioning the ears outward, and I visualize the stretching of the membranes happening. And she did mention that she felt a stretching, opening things up. that feel the same through here? Or did some of those changes change that?
It does feel a little better.
It feels a little different. I'll have to work more on that. Okay, now we're going to get in and just do the very polishing work that we're doing. Now here I'm at the back of the teeth, at the palatine, and I'm going to kind of pull it out and then pull it down. But this has got to be very gentle because there's sometimes therapists get a little heavy fingered with the mouth work, and when they're allowing that to go back in and up, they push a little too hard, and that creates a lot of work to undo that. So so you want to be sure if you're doing this kind of work to be very, very, very gentle and traction it down. And the way you traction it down, it's like you have to feel like your finger is being held on there, like with Velcro or magnetically. And so you have to be very slow and metered as far as how you're letting that bone follow your finger downward. And there's a lot of activity going on right now. Even in the frontal bone, I felt a big shift. Right underneath, it was probably right along the membrane area there. And now I'm gonna pull it toward her feet. I expanded it out to the right, and now I'm pulling it downward. And that's all the farther it wants to go. So now I'm kind of letting the magnet feeling, the Velcro feeling loosen, and I'm guiding it back up, and now I'm guiding it back in where its normal position is. And that's the Palatine. And then we'll do the Palatine on the other side. I need a mirror. Well, no, but the angle of things is important to get. So I have tried to cross my hand over, but it just doesn't feel like I'm doing good enough work in that kind of position. So here we are. I'm on the Palatine again. Yeah, there it is. And I'm gonna take that in an outward, kind of a little outward direction, very gently. And sometimes it kind of feels like you're just pulling it with the energy. When you can really determine and discern the energy in your hands, then you can feel it more at an energetic level, what's going on. And then, okay, that's coming down. This one wasn't as active. Back up and back in. Okay, and now we're going to balance this again. This is much better. This has a lot stronger rhythm now, and it feels cleaner. Okay, and now just to take a little, we're going to go up the nose. I'm going to take it to the inside and pull kind of upward and out. There was a little bit of something. It feels pretty balanced actually. And then this side. Now this in the nose is easier to get the angle on it. There's a lot of stuff going on the top of her head on this side. I'm going to pull downward now. Okay. And this is just the bridge of the nose, the nasal bones. Just checking those. Compared to last time, what I felt was that there was a little bit of correction, but not nearly the kind of activity that was happening before. So maybe it'll correct all the way, maybe it won't. It might be something that she can figure out how to do for herself when she feels it go off. Maybe this one will kind of complete all of that, which I'm hoping. Or we can get the other 10, 15, whatever percent corrected. But even if that doesn't want to correct all the way, it's better than what was happening prior to the structural work on the septum. This is a good rhythm at the sphenoid bone. It's very balanced. It's more balanced now than it was. Even though it was close, it's better. But it does still feel like there's a little bit of, like the bones are a little bit moved this way. So I'm going to put a little bit of a horizontal traction onto the sphenoid bone to see if we can just get it to slide a little bit more over. And there it goes. And now let me see the balance again. Yeah, this is it. This is a lot better. Much more balanced. Okay. And that you said just felt a little bit different, so it might have had something to do with some of this. But you probably need a little more work here too. Okay, I think that's about all we can do for checking this in a follow-up. She looks very symmetrical. It's really, yeah, it looks good, and I'm glad that we, I wasn't sure really what was going to happen last time when we tried this, because it's not anything I was trained, but I just go to the structure, see how the structure is supposed to look, how it's supposed to be, and then just allow the body to show me where it needs to go. And I think when you can all get to that level of body work, if you are a body worker, it's really about getting yourself out of the way and respecting the person on the table to the point of listening to what it is they need and not so much what they think they want. But because sometimes you're finding that their area of complaint is not where the core or the root of the problem is. And now with this, and the sphenoid is doing a little bit more dancing with the about C2, C3. And this is just in the balancing process. And it's back. So even though the rhythm was good there was a little bit more balance that needed to relate down into the neck. Okay. All right, I think, how does that feel for you?
It feels good.
Okay.
And I can breathe without hearing it.
Oh, you really? It changed?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. That's really good. I mean, I never know what's coming out of this work. I just know that if I, honor the body and follow the structure, that things will happen. So maybe I can open up some of the ideas for you guys out there, and you can begin to work in a little bit different fashion than step 1, step 2, step 3. Even though there's steps, it's a different process to learn how to pay attention to the body and make sure that you're using the energy of your body to maneuver some of the stuff that needs to be moved rather than using pressure. So, okay, so Diana's breathing. That's good. Now we'll see if she's snoring. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and to learn with us how to work on a deviated septum. Thank you so much, and thanks for everything you guys do, the comments, the likes, the shares, and I just appreciate it all. And thank you again for the donations. See you next time.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And I think there's a little bell up there that you can hit that you'll get a notification every time we post. So if you want to, you can hit that too. But thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.